Hello there, Assalamualaikum. You are tuning into Seminar 1 MOF 651 with us on strategic positioning. Let me introduce my group member. This is Nur Atira binti Syukri. And this is Nurul Syafiqah Khalida binti Kamaruzzaman. And me myself, Nusyairah binti Nur Azim Shah. Let's proceed to the next slide.
Learning objective. After going through this video, you should be able to define the strategic performance, understand the steps of strategic positioning strategy, knowing the 6 fundamental principles of strategic positioning, identify the strategic positioning tools, describe briefly the 7 types or bases of strategic positioning, understand the advantage of applying the strategic positioning, understand the challenges of applying strategic positioning, and the last one is knowing the decision making to apply the strategic positioning. Strategic positioning is concerned with the way in which a business as a whole distinguishes itself in a valuable way from its competitors and delivers value to specific customer segments. Strategic positioning reflects choices a company makes about the kind of value it will create and how that value will be created differently than the rivals. Strategic positioning also an approach you take when entering your business into any given market. It is a fundamental decision senior staff make to deliver a product and a brand into the market. To do so, there are a number of techniques that guide your performance and leverage you ahead of the competitions in your competing market.
Let's proceed on how to set a strategic positionings. For your informations, there are 5 strategies in order to set strategic positionings. The strategy consists of: first, the need to study the real capabilities of the company or organizations. The second one is the need to study the norms, benchmarks, and conventions of KPIs of their market. The third one is they need to study the current ranks and positionings of their competitors. The fourth one is they need to make a comparisons in terms of services, capabilities, market shares, and capacities. And the last one, which is the fifth one, they need to change the weakness and strength of the company or organization. As you know, based on the above, you should know to identify to select the positions that the company can achieve easily and the positions that needs more setup in terms of investment or in terms of long-term plans. Let's move on with the strategy positioning strategy. These are the 6 steps in order to determine the strategy of strategic positionings. Why steps are important? By having a strategy, you can begin to assimilate making things happen, which is at least to understand the environment enough to change and adapt. The first step is you need to take out the strategy issues. What is meant by the strategy issues? Strategy issues are developed and identified based on input from your planning teams. These issues should be a summary of critical topics that needs to be addressed during the planning process. The second one is they must conduct an environmental scan in order to understand the operating environment, which is an operating scan is also referred to as a pest analysis. All of these trends play a part in determining the overall business environment. These are the pest analysis that focuses on political, economic, social, and technology. These slides also include with the example of issues that may arise during conduct an environmental scan. As you can see, this slide contains of the issues that are relevant in order may arise in the environmental scan. The third step is they need to conduct a competitive analysis. What is meant by competitive analysis? Okay, for your information, a competitive analysis is to assess the opportunities and threats that may occur from those organizations competing for the same business. You need to have an understanding of what your competitors are and aren't offering your potential customers. And then you can take a look at the ways given below, such as to help you assess whether your competitive advantage is really an advantage. Thus, it is to understand what's your competitors. And the last one is it is in order to provide information that will help to evaluate the decisions making. Okay, let's proceed with step number 4, which is to identify the opportunities and threats. These two terms are different, as opportunities define situations that exist but must be acted on if the business is to benefit from them, while threats refer to the external conditions or barriers that may prevent a company from reaching its objective. And also, it is in order to help to prevent a company to achieve their targeted profitability and goals. The step number 5 is to define customer segment, which is this last one is focused with the goal of creating customer segments is so that can target specific customers that have similar needs and wants. After you have identified your segments, determine what their needs and how you can best satisfy them by providing values, and then evaluate how to best provide value of each segment and set the goal accordingly. Okay, now let's move on with fundamental principle. As you can see in the slide given, there are 6 principles that a firm need to take as a serious matter in order to success in their strategic positionings, which are the first thing first is they need to start with the right goals, which is when a company have a goal, which are the goal is defined in terms of volumes or market share leaderships with profits assumed to follow and also the post strategy of a result. The second one is a company's strategy must enable it to deliver a value propositions or to set of benefits different from those that competitors offers. The third principle is their strategy needs to be reflected in a distinctive value chain, which is a company must configure a way in conducts manufacturing, logistics, service delivery, marketing, human resource management, and so on differently from their levels and tailor it to its unique value proposition, which is these steps is in order to convince the company to produce a product which is unique. The next principle, which is the fourth one, is they need to set robust strategies that involve trade-off, which is a company must abandon or forgo some product features, services, or activities in order to be unique at others. Such trade-off in their product in the value chains are what make company to be truly distinctive. When improvement in their product or the value of their trade-off is not given, so that the company can achieve the best practices. As we know, strategy defines how all the elements of what a company does fit together. A strategy involves making choices throughout the value chain that are independent. It is fits not only increases competitive advantage, but also make a strategy harder to imitate. Last but foremost, a strategy must involve a continuity of directions, which is without continuity of directions, it is difficult for a company to develop a unique skills and assets or build strong reputations with customers. That is why continuity of directions are important in a strategy. Okay, let's further our discussions with the strategic positioning tools. For your informations, there are 9 tools that they need to focus in order to success a company's strategic positioning. Okay, the first tools is value propositions. The second one is they need to adapt 6-step STP process model. The third one is they needed to set the aims and objective for their strategy tools. And the next one is they need to adapt or need to know the unsolved model, which is it is in order to establish the best method for taking your products to the market. Okay, let's move on with the next important tools, which is the value propositions in evaluations model. And the next tools is by determine the unique selling point, which is, as you can see in the slide, stated that the types of differentiations, which is there are 7 types given. And then let's proceed with the 7 tools, which is positioning document. This is like positioning messages to target the audience. And the next tools is customer journey pipeline. It is to refer to different phases a customer has to go through before making a purchase, and it is a marketing role to understand the phases that a customer need to go through. As for the last one is by attacking the polarizing effects, which is it is the biggest way to position your business so that it converts customers is by aiming at their emotional state of mind.
Hi, I'm going to explain to you the 7 types or known as 7 bases of strategic positioning. First one is the product characteristics or known as attribute, and then pricing, user or applications, product user, product class, competitors, and the last one is cultural. I'm gonna explain to you the first items, which is the product characteristics. Nowadays, many products and services come with a new attribute or characteristic that set them apart from their competitors. This strategy focuses on the quality, durability, reliability, uniqueness, and complexity. These are two types of toothpaste from a different company, both producing the same products, but with a different uniqueness, and they are special at their own ways. As you can see here, Colgate Optic White could help to whiten the teeth, while Sensodyne could protect the sensitivity of the teeth. Next is pricing. Pricing focuses on the relationship between price and quality, as well as the consumer's perceptions of the value of a product. For example, the AirAsia. AirAsia provides a low-cost air fares to their customers. AirAsia offers a significantly more non-stop route between Asia's major cities and direct many of its smaller flights. AirAsia budget carriers are also known for holding low priority on the runway. AirAsia are also for having a smartphone check-in system that allows us traveling much smarter. This would reduce the cost of printing the tickets. Airport food is expensive and budget airlines normally charge a small fortune for the privilege of eating up in the air. However, AirAsia offers an advanced food ordering service, thus allow customers to make their own choices and could save their budget. The third one is the user applications, where a company need to focus on the functions. Company need to widen its target market to a different types of customers. One of the company that can be taken as an example is the Unilever. One of the brand produced by Unilever is Sunsilk. It consists of several types of shampoo with specific functions. They are shampoo for smoothing the hair, straightening the hair, anti-dandruff, anti-hair fall, and the latest one is the Sunsilk Hijab Recharge. This shows that Unilever managed to position its product in the market by emphasizing on the functions each of the products. Next is the product user. Strategic positioning based on the product user is when a product is associated with specific user or class of users. Endorsement by famous personalities or product influencers are examples of product user. Most of the cosmetics companies seek a successfully and highly visible model as their spokesperson for their products. One of the examples is Maybelline New York. Maybelline New York decided to choose Gigi Hadid as the spokesperson. As for Malaysia, they decided to choose one of the famous public figure, Elvira Loy, as the spokespersons. Hence, Maybelline New York could influence their customers in Malaysia to be attracted towards their products. This is the product positioning by using the product class. Product class is based on the demographic and the social factors of the customers. Okay, let's move on to the next slide since I'll be showing you the example so that you could understand more about the product class that I have mentioned about just now. For example is Perodua. Perodua had produced a few designs of car in the Malaysia automobile industry. Perodua strategically positions its product within the market by targeting a variety class of customers. One of the product is Asia. Asia is really suitable for fresh graduate and the lower income level customers since it's really affordable. Not only that, Perodua also introduced the Perodua Alza for a bigger family size. This is how Perodua managed to target and gain a lot of customers. Furthermore, the house developer also providing a low-cost house for the lower income level so that they could afford to buy their own house, while there is also a high-cost house for a high income level. Thus, the house developer in Malaysia could meet the needs and wants of the customers. Every customer would have a different expectations. By meeting their expectations, a company could gain more profits and increase its market share. Next is the competitors. A company could use the competitors' current positions in the market to determine their own positions. They should be willing to work hard and make advancements to satisfy the customer's need. For example, KFC. KFC is well known as fried chicken distributor and they had upgraded the second flavor which is a spicy fried chicken. After that, McD also introduced their new menu of spicy McD fried chicken. There were also other examples, especially for the mobile phone. They were fully manufactured by the Apple and the Android. For your information, when iPhone launched a phone with a new features for the camera and the fingerprint, Android phone would also launch a new phone with the same features. And the last one is the cultural, where the objective is to identify something symbolic that could be meaningful to people, and this strategy is also has not been used by the competitors. For example, as we already know that Malaysia really love to eat nasi lemak, and therefore McD grabbed this opportunity by introducing a new menu which nasi lemak, and not only that, McD also introduced new menu in their product line known as nasi lemak burger. Hence, it is such an opportunity to gain the competitive advantage by knowing the culture of the target customer. Advantage of strategic positioning. There are a lot of advantages, and the first one is meeting the expectations of buyers. Customer expectation refers to the wants and needs of the people a company wants to attract to buy their products and services, and often includes understanding customer service. Company needs to understand their customer first. They need to know the criteria or features of the product that customers wanted. Secondly is to promote consumer goodwill and loyalty. Strategic positioning could reinforce the company's name, its product and brand. Creating a lasting relationship with the customers has a lot of benefits for the business. Customer loyalty is an essential strategy to consolidate the market share and further develop business. Third advantage is a company could gain the attention and interest of consumers. Strategic positioning signifies those advantages that are significant to consumers. When the products and services are different and more attractive than those competitors, it would definitely catch the interest and the attentions of consumers. Most simple example that you can see in the market is McDonald's nasi lemak. McD knows that Malaysians love to eat nasi lemak, so this strategy could gain the interest of customers. The next advantage is to improve its competitive strength. This strategy could help to reduce competition, as it helps defend against rivals and it adds to the value proposition and competitive advantage. If a company can establish its product as uniquely valuable, competitors will find it difficult to make a compelling case for buying substitute. The fifth advantage is could attract different types of consumers. Consumers differ in terms of their expectations from the product. By promoting different types of competitive advantages, a company can attract different types of buyers. For example, McDonald's wanted to attract different class of customers. They have Happy Meals for kids, they also have McCafe, and they also provide breakfast menu. Next is a company could increase profitability. Customers are willing to pay at a higher price without having any bad perceptions on the products, even though the product price is high compared to other competitors. Even though the price of iPhone is quite high and expensive, customers are willing to buy the product as iPhone has a very good quality. This would make the company to continue making profits. The last one is to cope with the market changes. As per new developments in the marketplace, new competitive advantage should be identified, discovered, or developed to suit the changes in the expectations of the market. This allows the manager of the company to be more active, alert, and dynamic. As we all know, nowadays people love to eat spicy Korean food. People love to eat samyang, the spicy Korean noodles. In order to cope with the market changes, Mami also launched a new instant noodles product. They collaborate with the Korean company to produce a new ghost pepper instant noodles. Not only that, McDonald's also introduced a new menu, which is the spicy Korean burger.
Branding is not easy. It is not just about giving a name or an attractive logo or slogan. It is one of the most challenging tasks a manager faces. These challenges are also known as 3 C's of branding. Every organization or managers face these challenges. Number 1. Cash. The challenge of cash or dealing with short-term financial concern is the biggest single challenge faced by brand managers. It is driven by a very simple conundrum. Executives need to deliver short-term financial results, but brands are long-term assets. Executives who deliver quarterly profits are rewarded. However, all of a brand's value resides in future, and current financial returns are a very small part of the total. However, if a manager is forced to choose between investing in a brand and missing short-term financial targets, most managers choose to hit the short-term numbers. Number 2. Consistency. Brands are created through a wide range of touchpoints. Every time a customer interacts with a brand, they form association. This means that everyone in a company has an impact on the brand. Therefore, the central objective of brand building is to keep the message consistent across all platforms, media, and time. This requires keeping the brand relevant by finding new ways to articulate its message so that it stays consistent. This means making appropriate changes across the board consistently and adapting to stay on top of trends. However, many brands are unable to present a unified message across all platforms. For example, a brand may otherwise have a good online store, but its social media profiles may not be up to the mark. Other brands follow another destructive way, which is separating their online and offline offerings. Therefore, the second biggest challenge of branding is consistency, or getting an entire organization to embrace the brand live up to the promise over time. However, if an organization does not understand, believe in, and own the brand, or another word is, if the message, the brand, and the product are not consistent, the vision remains unfulfilled. Next, clutter. The market is intensely competitive and increasingly populated. Consumers are bombarded every day by hundreds and sometimes thousands of advertisements and promotions. Breaking through this cluttered environment is exceptionally difficult. The challenge is to be unique and stand out among the crowd. This means using innovative marketing and advertising to carve out your niche. It is hard to get anyone to pay attention to your brand and harder still to form meaningful associations. To stand out, brand need to be focused and unique. Great brand means something unique in consumers' mind. Having a clear positioning is a great beginning, but not sufficient. Brands need to create attention through creative, advertising, and innovative use of media. The important job is to position your brand uniquely so that it fulfills a supply requirement. Otherwise, you will get swamped by competition. The idea here is not just to be good, but also be memorable, and that requires a holistic approach toward brand positioning. For example, Nike remains such a favorite brand because its logo and tagline are instantly memorable. Last but not least, communication. The brand of a company is created by the company and its customer together. The strongest brand will be the one to which consumers become so attached that they, in effect, become evangelists and actively seek means to interact with the brand and share their experience with others. Firms that are able to achieve resonance and affinity to their customer will be able to reap a host of valuable benefits such as greater price premiums and more efficient and effective marketing programs. Digital media dictate marketers to relinquish control of the story as customers want to interact with stories and modify them on social media. Analyze your target audience and your main consumers. Identify what is most interesting to them and what their profile is. What needs do your customer have? And what are your problems and desires? Segmenting the market is essential to achieve proper positioning. Study your current situation. Analyze the current positioning of your company, brand or product, and do a SWOT analysis. Analyze your main competitors. Which brand compete with yours and what positioning strategies are they employing? Identify your competitive advantages. In what aspect do you differentiate yourself from your main competitors? What can you do that others do not? And do your competitors fail? Define your value proposition. Now that you know your main competitors and your target audience, you must define a value proposition. This should show why your customer should work with you and not with your competitors.